What up, everybody? Welcome to the Xcast. Right about now, we want to welcome you to the greatest podcast on earth, hosted by yours truly, the XSP. I want to hear you say
What's up?
Xcast.
Welcome to another episode. Reach out and touch me. Yes. No, I'm just kidding. Welcome to another episode of the Xcast with XSP. And today we got another one for you. I think we're going to have a great show today. I got a great guest to talk to. Very good friend of mine. But before we do all that, let me just get some things out of the way. If you like other podcasts, you like things that will move your heart, move your spirit, and you should check out Project Restore with Jason Garcia. That's my bro, my older brother, doing it big on Project Restore on Spotify. You look for Renee Torres, A Burning Hope. You can check out that one. That one's really good. And check them out on Spotify. Those have life-changing stories in them that I definitely think that you would like to hear if you like stories like that. I'm also a artist, a recording artist. I do multiple genres. You're looking for something acoustic, I got you. You're looking for something for heavy metal, I got you. You're looking for some rap, I got you there too. Look me up on Spotify, Google me. I'll have some links in the descriptions below if you want to check out my music, the XSP-Xtreme Street Preacher, coming into your stereo. So you can check out me on any streaming site, really. And if you want to help me and support, and you want to download some music, you can go to the XSP238.bandcamp.com. That money will actually get there unadulterated, without anybody sticking their fingers in it, anybody sticking their hands in it, and you can do that if you support the ministry that I'm doing, and like that. And I'm also an author. Look up PJ Garcia, PEAJAY Garcia on Amazon. I have written a book. It's a very dark book, but it's just the first one to kick in the door. And there's another one coming. That one's called Shotgun Monday. The next one's gonna be called Midnight Paperboy. So that one's actually really cool, more family friendly, and both are really good. Anyway, you can look for that if you're trying to support monetarily, or you can get through PayPal. If you want to just say, hey, I like what you're doing, here's a couple bucks. And you can do that through PayPal, and the address is demonslayerxsp@yahoo.com. Now, I'll put that also in the description. There's many links that I'm going to be posting in the description because I got a lot of singles out there. Just released something brand new called Splattered, and it's a heavy metal track. And I released it around Halloween time, and it's definitely a very devastating, brutal track if you like that kind of music. Other than that, enjoy. All right, so our first guest, our only guest tonight, is a young man. He's not that much younger than me, but he's a young man, full of energy. He's a guy I met a while back, maybe I want to say 6 years ago, and the dude's just been on the road with me in this music thing for a minute, and he's a good guy. But we're gonna peer in to the mind of Sik Disciple, also known as Wig Split the Clown, also known as Wig Split, also known as Lance Crackers. So we'll get into all that once the show starts. So stay tuned, and we're going to talk about this musical journey with Sik Disciple right now. So without further ado, here is my guest for the evening or the morning, whenever you're listening to this podcast, Sik Disciple in the Heezy Basheezy out of Austin, Texas, Dove Springs. What's up?
What's up, bro?
How's it going, man? How's your day been?
It's been all right. A little stressful, but it's been okay. Can't complain.
Cool, man. So, with my podcast, I don't know if you ever heard them. We usually start off with an icebreaker type question. And that question is, have you ever seen anything supernatural or something you couldn't explain with the human intellect? Do you have any stories about the other side or something of that nature?
I've got a bunch of stories, and one of them I actually tell in my song "Might Go Times 10." But there's a story that I don't tell too many people about. But a couple years ago, I had dealt with an issue with a homeboy, and then after that, I had to go get my mental checked out, make sure I was okay. And while I was in the hospital, everything was fine. I get out of the hospital, and I go to be released from the psych ward, and all of a sudden, I supposedly was having an allergic reaction to one of the medications they had given me. So I ended up not being able to get out right then. So I had to go. I went and took a nap, and when I woke up, I talked to the doctor. The doctor said I could leave. Everything was fine. My grandma comes to get me, and we're headed back to the house. And all of a sudden, that allergic reaction thing happened again. And I don't really know if it was really an allergic reaction, and I don't believe it was. My tongue, they said my tongue was swollen at the psych hospital. My tongue wasn't swollen. Like, I had no control over my vocal cords, and I couldn't talk or anything. And then, so I got scared, and I kept telling my grandma, can you take me over to the hospital? And I kept trying to get her to understand what I was saying because I couldn't really talk. So I had to start writing things down. And so story goes on. I get to the hospital. They don't know what to do for me. They thought I was having an allergic reaction too. And then so they, I guess, gave me some medicine to help me calm down or whatever. And I slept and woke up the next morning and went home. As soon as we pulled into the driveway, that same thing happened again. But it was worse. Like, whenever I was in the bathroom and I could see myself in the mirror, I couldn't register in my mind where I had seen that from, basically. And basically, you can just say I looked like I was possessed. My hands were all contorted and everything, and I could barely function at all. And so so whenever we get back to the hospital, they didn't know what to do, and so they gave me whatever so I could go to sleep. And the doctors were over in there in the doctor area talking about the case, and they didn't know what to do. And my grandma said it was a psychiatrist that was off duty for the hospital that happened to overhear the doctors talking about that they didn't know about what to do about me. And so he asked them if he could see me. And whenever he came to the room to see me, I was asleep. And all I remember my grandma doing was she asked me something about the friend that I had an issue with recently. And I said, I think I told her, yeah, it's whatever, I don't care. And I went back to sleep. So she went and talked to this psychiatrist that was off duty for the hospital. And the psychiatrist had told her that he doesn't think that it's something medically wrong with me. And so he told my grandma that she needed to go wake me up and make me pray. And so my grandma come and woke me up, and she was telling me, she was crying, telling me that I needed to pray and that I needed to not give up, because I was right whenever I told her, I wrote it down on paper, I was right when I said no man can help me. And that's really what it was. No man could help me at that point. I pretty much went all the way down and out. And so I started praying, and then all of a sudden everything slowly started to go away. My hands going crazy, and my vocals came back. I was able to talk again, and it was just the craziest experience I'd ever had in my entire life, man.
And what do you think that sprung from? Just like, was it, or obviously you can't really explain it, but what do you think it might have been that started that?
I think it was like a demonic attack or a spiritual attack of some kind.
Man, that's wild. Have you ever seen any other things, maybe in your childhood, how you were brought up, or it's obvious that you believe in a spiritual realm? You want to expand on that?
Well, my spiritual realm that I talk about is actually the spiritual realm. And when I say that I battle demons, I really do battle demons daily, not just like addictions or whatever you want to call it, not those kind of demons, but actual demons. And that's why I love our music so much, bro, because I know you're the same way. I know you understand the path that I'm talking about. And that's all we can do, bro, is fight back because, well, not today, Baphomet.
There it is right there. And that's obviously where that kind of comes from, is that I'm not going to let no demon in hell stop me from doing what I need to do, the mission that I have to accomplish. And it's obvious that we're on that same track. All right, man, I want to switch it up a little bit, take it out of that realm a little bit. But
All right.
I mentioned before you got in that you go by many names. One of them is Wig Split the Clown. When I first met you, you told me that your rap name was Wig Split. You kind of fluctuated between that. But where does that name come from? Where does the name Wig Split come from? Where does Sik Disciple come from?
Well,
And
wig split,
what's
it
the
comes
origin?
from the fact that on my first birthday, I had what is called craniosynostosis, which means my soft spot closed in too soon. So they had to go in and bust my head open and put it back together the right way and put a growth plate in it and a metal plate in my forehead and then stitch me back up. And that's how I got the wig split.
All right, where does the name Sik Disciple come from?
Well, one of my very first songs that I did, I called myself the Sik Disciple. Or I said, I'm a Sik Disciple. And basically what that is I have the sickness, which is not how it sounds. It sounds a lot more negative than what it really is. I feel like the sickness is really the cure. And I just say it's the sickness, so it's like the virus, like this corona thing. That's the impact I want it to have on the world because it's not about me. It's about the one who sent me. So that's all about Jesus. It's all about God.
And I know that when we you reference a lot to Christ's core, you want to explain like the meaning of that, the details of what Christ's core is. I know you had mentioned your music is somewhat what you meant you christened it as Christ's core, but can you
Yeah.
expound on it a little bit?
Yeah. Christ core is basically horrorcore with a gospel twist. And I know I can't sing like gospel tracks like that, but eventually I want to incorporate all of that into it. And not it. I don't want it to just sound like horrorcore or just regular hip hop. I want to be able to be a chameleon of hip hop, so I can do all sorts of different styles and everything. And the Christ core is because, well, Jesus in the gospel, so Christ core on horrorcore. So it's really my everyday life, which is living in a horror movie, basically. But I got God on I'm on God's side, so I'm going to be all right no matter what.
Yeah, man. What started your journey in the rap world? What was it that grabbed you about rap music? What was it that grabbed you about music in general? Where did it start? What was your upbringing like that got you into this thing that we call the rap game?
Well, probably wouldn't believe it, or you might. The things I used to listen to most of the time back in the day when I was growing up was a lot of church music because I was raised in a Southern Baptist home. And here in Austin, born and raised. And so a lot of gospel church music all the time, almost constantly, because my grandmother was trying to give me the right upbringing and not have like any wickedness go toward me. But of course, that's how the world is. So I was listening to things like Jump 5 and Super Chick and Switchfoot. And I had a really big crush on Avril Lavigne. And yeah, so I was listening to a bunch of stuff like that, even Backstreet Boys and NSYNC. But then my very first song that I remember that my dad showed me, my dad passed away when I was 8. My dad showed me this song when I was about 6, and it became one of my favorite songs, and it's still one of my favorite songs today. It's Love Bites by Judas Priest. And back then I didn't understand. I mean, my dad had told me it's about a vampire, but I didn't understand that it was really about a vampire until I got older. And I was like, that's so cool. So, yeah. And then
That's I
all the
mean,
rock and
so
stuff that I listen to.
your dad kind of sparked that journey into that a little bit of an edgier music. How did you
Yeah.
come to know the Juggalo culture? How did you come across the Juggalo sound and the Juggalo? Because it's obviously we've done things in the Juggalo realm, and how did you enter into that? I know that through me, it was through my older brother, inadvertently through a soundtrack that he had with rap music on it. Happened to have ICP, and I just gravitated toward the sound and the lyrics. What was your journey like getting into that Juggalo culture?
Well, to be honest, the first few times I had heard ICP, I was like, that's all right. I'm not gonna lie, I thought they were all right. Not something I would listen to on a daily basis at that time. But I was a real big pothead in high school, so I got into Cottonmouth Kings. And when I found out that they were down with the clown, I was like, well, I want to be down with the clown too. Not just because they were, because I was starting to feel the vibe, and I had just heard a song by Blaze Your Dead Homie called Shotgun Shotgun. And that's the song that pulled me into it. One Less G in the Hood is my favorite album of theirs.
And one of my favorite tracks off the Colton Grundy Shotgun, man. That's actually they did that live not too long ago, I think. That's one of my favorite as well. Blaze, that West Coast sound, but a little heavier, more guitars.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome, man. So from Cottonmouth Kings, you went to ICP, and then from ICP, it went on from there. That's what it looks like. And at what point did you start rapping, or what was it that inspired you to start rapping along those same lines?
Well, whenever I was in high school, I would write dumb lyrics down. I thought they were dumb. I would think I was writing cool raps, but I really wasn't. And every day I was throwing them in the trash after school. Well, my cousin, he wanted me to freestyle with him a lot, and I wasn't good at it at all. So most of the time I was like, nah, just making up excuses why I didn't want to jump on the beat. And then finally, we're listening to Rick Ross hustling, and I started freestyling, and my cousin's like, "What?" And then so he kind of helped me, and he's my younger cousin. He kind of helped me form like kind of how to rap a little bit, and then with him teaching me that, I was able to pass it down to my nephew, and now my nephew's 1,000 times better than me. So
Cool, man. So it's almost like a family affair, if you will. Cool. So, at that point, when I first met you, uh, how long had you been rapping since then? Because I know that 'cause you already had some songs under your belt, I think, at that point. How long had
yeah,
you been rapping?
probably 3 years, I guess, by then. And then I, my one of my homeboys tells me exactly how I feel even today. Still, one day he came over. He was my next door neighbor, and he was actually a Christian rapper when I met him, and he still is a Christian rapper. TB. Um, he had told me one day he came over and knocked on the door, and he was like, "Hey, bro, can I talk to you real quick? Can you step outside?" And so I stepped outside and I closed the door, and he just started yelling at me. And I don't remember anything that he told me besides, "You need to stop acting like Jonah." And that's the only thing that rings to my mind today. Even like every day I think about that because I procrastinate a lot. And if I would stop procrastinating so much, more things would happen. But there's a lot going on mentally and family wise and stuff that makes me want to be more procrastinating. So I need to stop acting like Jonah, and I still tell myself that today.
Man, so since we met each other, I know that we've gone through dips and valleys and things like that. One of the songs that sticks out to me, and then we're going to transition to more song meaning, because I know that it's obvious that your music is your life, and you put a lot of what you feel and what you go through in your music. There's I would consider your hit Judgmental. Tell me about the
Maybe.
conception of judgmental and where it comes from.
Well, I whenever I was growing up in the church, I was told to not judge people, and that means don't look at somebody and be like, oh, well, they're going to be like this just because they look like that. And that's like judging a book by its cover. And not everybody is going to be the same. Not everybody that dresses the same is going to be the same. Not every juggalo is the same. Every juggalo has different, different bringing up and different how they ended up becoming a juggalo and all that. Every person in the world is different when it comes up to that. Even their testimonies are different. So I thought, what was the question again? I'm sorry.
It was where does the song "Judgmental" come from?
Okay, and
What's inspired, if you will, the song "Judgmental"? Because I would, like I said, I would consider it your hit, and I would consider it a song that speaks volumes as far as personally where it comes from. But I just wanted you to expand on where a little bit more on where it comes from.
Honestly, getting back into church, and the church that I go to is the same church I grew up in, and when I got back in it at that time, I wasn't. I mean, yes, when I showed up at church, I would get the looks, and you can see people's gears working in their head. You can tell what they're thinking. I knew they were all judging me because they knew my past from when I was real little all the way up to now, and I could tell they were like, "Why is he here?" And then now they're a lot less judgmental toward me now that I've been back again, and all they know is the bad things my grandma has told them to ask them to pray about me. You know what I mean? And like they even know the first time I got my first ever weed charge. So it kind of sucks, but then again it doesn't because there's still that family relationship at church like there's supposed to be. So that's good. But yeah, that's where it came from. Yeah, that's where it came from.
Cool. All right. So there's another one, and I think it's almost along the same lines, but it's definitely one of your other kind of hit type things. No Masks. Can you tell us a little bit about No Masks and where that comes from?
No Masks is all about being real with yourself, because if you can't be real with yourself, you can't be real with nobody else. So it starts with being real with you and your heart and being real with God or your higher power. And whenever you're real with you and your higher power, you can be real to everybody else. Otherwise, you're going to be telling nothing but lies.
So literally, like, don't hide who you are. Kind of that.
Yes, and also, I have an issue with masked rappers because, I mean, not that I don't like their music. Some of their music's really good. But whenever it comes to their live performances, how do I know that's really you doing what you do? Because one, I can't see your lips moving, and two, your vocals sound just like it does on the CD.
Cool. So yeah, man, it's definitely something you got to be real when you come with it on the mic. You got to be who you are. You gotta be live in the moment. All right, man. So check it out. What's Sik Disciple up to present day? What are the projects on the line? What are the aspirations? What are the goals of Sik Disciple as of today?
Well, as everybody knows, I've been working on my first album still because I've gotten stomped on and helped people and gotten stomped on for helping people. But I'm still working on it. I'm not going to stop. As soon as it's completely done, my first album, Negative Zero, will be out. And Negative Zero is the non-existent feeling. It's you wanting to feel something, or you wanting to be noticed or accepted by somebody, and they don't want to care about you at all. And being shunned by them is what makes you go down to the negative zero feeling. And I know a lot of people in the world deal with that same issue. So I felt like I should base my first album on that issue, since that's one of the issues I'm still working on getting over. And there's a surprise album that's coming out before that album, and it's just a little sneak peek of what's going to happen coming up.
Cool. Now, that's actually a very good. I've heard it from James Hetfield from Metallica. He always said, anytime you're talking about human emotion, you can never go wrong. And it looks like you wear your heart on your sleeve. As long as I've known you, you've always been a guy who has a big heart, and you can obviously tell in your music. It shines through. Are there any other songs that really touch your, like, you just like, man, I had to get this emotion out? And what song would you say is one that really tells who you are as a person?
Well, No service definitely does. Might go times 10. And I gotta say, Unknown probably would be like one of my favorites because that has to do with a lot of different things in my life, especially how I'm like juggalos. We're taking a stand. Like we need to take a stand. Like I don't know if y'all have paid attention to the Joker, but I thought at first he was a juggalo hater, but apparently he's not a juggalo hater. He's just telling us we need to stop acting up. That's all he was telling us. So I feel like we do need to take a stand and start fighting back and getting our rights of being down back. Even though, yes, they stopped claiming us as gang members, even I'm still labeled as a gang member in Travis County and in Williamson County because of that issue. And I've never been in a gang in my entire life. And like they say, if I'm in a gang, well, I'm gonna bang hard for my gang, even though I'm not clicked up, you know. So psychopathic riders.
So you've had issues with affiliation, I guess you could say, and I know that Twisted would say that that's not even a thing. Not calling them out or nothing, but that's what they've stated. Would you say it's the opposite? Were you saying you had a harder sentence, if you will, or a harder case just because you're a juggalo?
I definitely do get messed with more by the police just for being a juggalo. Like whenever I was in Arkansas for 6 months, the same cop messed with me at least 4 times in 2 months. And if he would have messed with me anymore, I was going to have to ask him for his badge number and report him because he was definitely not coming at me the right way. And he was accusing me of being all sorts of things. And it was just ridiculous. And I wanted to be like, well, what? You've never seen a juggalo before? But I didn't want to be disrespectful. And I was, trying to do the right thing instead of being stupid like most people would think juggalos would act.
Right, and let's transition a little bit. Let's talk about performances. What would you say is your finest moment on stage, and what could you say was your best show that you've ever done, or what in your mind what you've ever done? Take us back and give us the scenery of that show.
Okay, well, I think the biggest experience I ever had on stage, real quick, was opening up for Goth Boy Click for their Texas tour after Little Peep had passed away, and that was an awesome sold out show, 1,200 people or something like that, and I rocked the stage for that, and it was so awesome. It meant a lot to me because Little Peep was awesome, and the Goth Boy Click was pretty good too. So I was able to do that, and I want to say my most intense performance, like that I feel like I killed it the hardest, was actually the open mic night we just had recently at Longhorn Daiquiris, and I didn't expect myself to have that much energy, and I came with it hard, and I blew myself away on that one. But I want to say my most unexpected response that I never thought I would get from the crowd was, there was 2 different times. The first time was at Kung Fu Vampire at Kickbutt Coffee. Whenever I think it was my first time opening for Kung Fu because I've opened for him twice, and then in December in San Antonio, opening up for Razakel. Whenever I did Unknown, and Razakel started screaming, that was the coolest thing ever.
Do you know what show that one was? What tour it was?
No, I don't.
Shout out to Razakel. She's an awesome artist and a very nice person, despite what anybody may think.
Shrunken Head Entertainment.
Yeah, Shrunken Head. Shout out to Hard Jaws and the whole crew. All right, what would you say is your... have you ever had any embarrassing moments on stage, or have you ever had any just where you weren't so proud of it moments on stage?
I think it was back whenever we did I think it was a toy drive. We had the toy drive, and I killed it that night with Codeine. Codeine was there at that show. Or Yeah, he was there with me at that show. And then when we get back in, or when we were leaving that show, I got a call from my grandmother telling me not to come home because my aunt had passed away at the house. And so, like, when all the cops there and stuff, she didn't want me to come to the house. So we ended up finally getting home about like 5 o'clock in the morning after the cops left. And we had a show that next night, opening up for Razakill. I think that was I can't remember. It might have been, no, I don't think it was Voodoo Dolls and Dabs. I don't remember exactly which tour that one was. But me and Cody, like, we were so, I guess, torn up over losing my aunt because she's been in my life since I was 8 years old. And so, like, it was really hard for me to be able to actually still get out there and do it. But I did, and I felt like that was probably my worst time on stage because, one, my mind wasn't in the right place to actually be doing what I was doing, but I still came with it, did the best I possibly could, and shouted out to a couple of artists that had passed away due to overdoses, and that's how my aunt had passed away due to overdose.
And that's some heavy times to even be on stage. Honestly, I'm not even sure if I would even have gone on stage. But props to you for pushing it out and getting through that. All right, if there was an artist that you could collaborate with, money was no object, who would it be? Top three artists you would collaborate.
I want to say Benny Paz from Jedi Mind Trick and Ouija Mac and Pyrex. But that's only for the male rappers. I have a list of female rappers that is that cool?
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Number one, of course, Razakill. Number two would be Nova Rockefeller, and I'm not even sure. In my opinion, Snow the product would be kind of cool, but I don't know. I think Smalls One would be more dope.
And Smalls One is an amazing rapper. First of all, not only that, but she is also part of the Stephen King book club, which I am a part of, and we talk about books every now and again. Shouts out to Smalls One. We definitely talk on that club site every now and again. It's also really cool that she even reads a lot and shares something in common. We've done a bunch of shows together too. Cool, man. All right. Well, where can possible fans hear your music? Where can they, partake in your sound?
Well, I got Instagram, 0420 SIKXD 512, and Reverb Nation. I believe my Reverb link is on my Instagram, but if it's not, the link would be to the YouTube for XSP for our song "Shot a Demon." So check that out.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. I know since we were talking earlier about how we both kind of when we started to collaborate, one of the things that was definitely a common theme is fighting off demons, and the song "Shot a Demon" was right down our alley. It seemed like, because if you don't know out there, we are working on an album. We've been working on an album for several years now, and it's almost done. Believe it or not,
done.
Almost about 90% done. And when it came to thinking about songs for the album and kind of filling it up a little bit, I know I had the idea of I Shot a Demon from the song "I Shot a Hater" with ICP and 3-6 Mafia.
And Twisted.
So I thought, man, what would be even cooler? Like, it would sound too super juggalo, super gangsta, and super gospel if we just shot a demon. You know what I mean? And kind of took that same concept. And obviously, you were down. What was your thought whenever I came with that idea?
I was like, yes, this is going to be the coolest song ever. And then you told me even more greater news that Clado the World Destroyer was going to be on it. And I was like, oh man, now we're going to murk everybody.
Yeah. So just filling it out with Clado. Actually, he's the one who chose the beat. I went over to his humble abode, and at first we were gonna record some stuff, but then my computer malfunctioned, and I was like, well, what else can we do? I'm already here. I got a flash drive full of beats. I got beats on my computer. Let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can come up with another collab or something. Because I know that I had told him about it with a different beat, and he's like, "No, I don't really like that beat. That beat's weak." And I was like, "What? What do you mean my beats? My beats aren't weak?" But then we started going through. We started going through the tracks, and we came upon that beat. I had made it years ago. I want to talk about when I first started making beats. But
That's what's up.
But we ended up hearing it, and actually at first I didn't want to use the beat because I wasn't even sure how I could even rap over it. Back then I was doing really experimental stuff that you might not even be able to rap over unless you unless you have a crazy mind to do it. But he picked it out, man, and we ended up fleshing out a song. I sent it to you. He came over to my house, recorded the verse, and it just came together real nice. You can find it on iTunes. You can find it on Google Play. So look out for that. XSP, Sik Disciple, Clado, the World Destroyer. Shout out to Clado. He's been a real big help for both of us, I think. Definitely super supportive of all that we do. But yeah, man, I'm glad you liked it. I'm glad I like it. I love it. And definitely one of
Can't wait
those.
to hear Wax Burners.
Yeah, that one too, man. There's a lot of good stuff coming on that album, man. Y'all gotta keep your eyes peeled for that.
A lot of good stuff. Fire.
So, what's up?
Hustling Grind remix is coming, bro. I promise it's coming.
Yeah, it'll be worth the wait once we're able to get it out, package it,
Definitely.
and then give birth to it to the world.
Yep.
Cool, man. Any shout outs or any last little things you want to ask me something? Any topics you want to talk about?
I want to thank you for everything that you've done for me, bro. Because if it weren't for you, I would have never got on stage the first time. And whenever you gave me that opportunity, bro, and I feel like if I wouldn't have done it, if I wouldn't have took you up on that, I would have never got on stage.
Hey, man, I'm always willing to help somebody. I know that at the time I was really looking for a hype man. I wanted that, like, I was watching a lot of videos from Psychopathic, like the live stuff, and they had like this formula. They're like, all right, man, there's these two dudes, they're both all hype, and I was like, man, we got to do this. And it's great whenever you're being paid for every show, and people can be there. Sometimes not always that way, but it's definitely a model that we tried to replicate. And I appreciate you, man, just stepping out in faith, really, and trying it out. And now you're flourishing as well, doing it on your own too. I think we both help each other out a lot.
It means a lot, bro.
Yeah, man. All right, cool. Any other anecdotes or anything you want to any stories you want to tell? The floor is yours.
Well, I would like to say the original Hustle and Grind, I made that beat. It was my second beat that I had ever made. The only other beat that I had made prior to that was Morning Light. And
which is a dope track as well.
The way you hit that beat on Hustle and Grind, bro, I was like, dang. Because, one, I knew you were going to kill it, but I was like, now I got to compare to that. You know what I mean? And so it gave me more inspiration so I could be able to get a little bit better. And that was whenever I was still not comfortable with how I sounded. And I'm still not quite comfortable with how I sound on most songs, but it's starting to come to my ear where I'm like, okay, I can actually jam this. And it took a lot of people telling me, hey, man, your music's a lot better than you think it is. You need to give yourself a little bit more credit. And so I've been working on trying to do that. I still don't like some of my original songs probably because I hear them too much or I played them too much at shows. It's how I feel. But the reaction I get at every show is different, which that's what I love. And Juggalos, they always show love. And yeah, so whenever the guitar part in that song is actually done by one of my homeboys that lives down the street from me. He played the guitar and we recorded him playing the guitar and then we just mixed it into the beat. So
Dopeness, man. And that's definitely the one that we first collabed on, and then would soon turn us into No Laughing Matter. And that idea came actually a while back. I wanted to originally call it Point Blank, and I don't know why,
Ooh,
but
that sounds
it
cool.
seemed I thought drive by. That's really what I was thinking about. I was like, man, how
Yeah.
can we do how can I do a group thing that's like drive by, kind of has that gangster feel, but at the same time is not totally gangster. Point Blank, I feel like Point Blank, you could have been like, well, I'm telling it to you point blank, being
Yep.
blunt, or it could be like I'm shooting at you point blank range.
Yep.
So, but
Yep.
it eventually turned into No Laughing Matter, and we collaborated, I think, on the name, and we've been doing that for I don't know a couple of years now. Then got some shows under our belt, and man, I think there's just
And
more
now
collabs to come.
the Hustle and Grind remix is almost done.
Yeah, Hustle and Gotten remix. I produced that one, played the guitar on that one, tried to get a little bit of the original feel and a little bit of the a newer feel. And shout out to Benjamin Benton, I think Benton McKenzie, that's his name. Benton McKenzie, who actually mixed that for me or remix. He didn't he remixed it as in he did the levels and things like that, not
Oh wow, that's what's up.
so shout out to him. I don't know if he's watching or if he pays attention to what I'm doing anymore, because that dude's light years away from what I've ever done. But Benton McKenzie, shout out to him. If you want production work, Benton McKenzie, those of you who are listening out there, that dude is a beast on the boards. He's a rapper. He's a singer. Probably charge you a little bit more than I would, a lot more because he's super professional. And but that dude's a phenomenal. He helped me out a lot on that, on a couple of my things. Really, Ben McKenzie, shout out to him. Yeah, man, we've been doing it though, me and you for a minute. There's obviously more music to come.
Yep.
You know, and I think the future's bright as far as like releasing music. I know that shows aren't really going on right now, but as far as putting those tracks out there, I mean, it's all sky's the limit. That's what my dad used to say. Sky's the limit. Shout out to my dad, rest in peace. But he always used to tell me that. He always used to say, "Sky's the limit," and we're going nationwide, baby. So I feel like
We're
that's
going worldwide, bro. We're going
there it
worldwide.
is. There it is.
Didn't
Going
you say that they hear
worldwide.
this in Australia?
Yeah, yeah. So the podcast, for those of you who don't know, shout out to the 60-year-old women listening to my podcast in Australia and in Bangladesh.
Yeah.
So, you know, definitely you're going to be on that as well, part of the legacy. And hopefully, yeah, we're going worldwide, man. Getting those 3 cents to listen, or, you know, 0.015 or whatever the case is. Slowly grinding, slowly picking it up, slowly stacking the cents till we make dollars.
Yep. Because if it don't make sense, you ain't gonna make dollars.
Yep, for real. But hey, man, I appreciate your time, dude. Like I say, any last things to say? Any shout outs?
Not really. Just
You want
thanks
to
to
plug any
everybody.
projects?
Thanks to everybody. Austin Door. Appreciate
Yeah.
him for running THC.
Oh,
And,
speaking of Austin Door, that's who put us together in the first place.
Yep.
He's like,
definitely.
hey, I know this dude. He's a Christian. He's a juggalo. And he said, hey, I know this other dude. He's a Christian. He's a juggalo. Put them in there together. And we ended up getting No Laughing Matter.
Definitely.
Cool,
If it weren't for Austin, this wouldn't be happening.
yeah, most definitely. He definitely opened a lot of doors for myself, going into other cities and meeting other people through shows and vibing with people. And it's a wonderful
Shout out to
thing,
Drew
man.
Smith.
There you go, Drew Smith in the house. Keeping that funny farm running. Cool. Yeah, man.
All right, bro.
All right, brother. That's it for today's show. Shout out to Sik Disciple, a.k.a. Wig Split, a.k.a. Lance Crackers, a.k.a. Logan. All right.
Already.
So, yeah, man. Definitely, we're going to play out the track Judgmental, one of my favorites, and we'll be out of this piece.
Wig Split. Y'all don't know my life. Y'all don't know my struggle. Y'all don't know my life. Y'all don't know my struggle, but y'all so judgmental. Y'all so judgmental. So judgmental. Y'all don't know my life. Y'all don't know my struggle. Y'all don't know my life. Y'all don't know my struggle, but y'all so judgmental. Y'all so judgmental, so judgmental. Crazy little white boy coming on the southeast side, fofo. Throw your foes up, throw your foes up. If you ain't reppin' dub, throw your set up. Blitz in your town, rockin' a mic, face painted like a clown. If you don't know, your boy reppin' A-Town. White boy jumping on the scene, mug on grease. What you think of me? This white boy dumb, white boy stupid, this white boy whack. Y'all don't even know the facts. I may be white, but I spit bars like darts, piercing your ears, hearts, and souls like you just got uppercut at the elbows. I rock shows, not leave them hanging like a bunch of stale hoes. Leave them chopped and screwed up, straight choke, cause y'all know my lyrics dope. Y'all don't know my life, y'all don't know my struggle, y'all don't know my life, y'all don't know my struggle, but y'all so judgmental, y'all so judgmental, so judgmental. Y'all don't know my life, y'all don't know my struggle, y'all don't know my life, y'all don't know my struggle, but y'all so judgmental, y'all so judgmental, so judgmental. Walking through wearing red, black, and blue. Does he know what he's doing? Does he know who he's offending? Who does he think he is? With all that colored clothes and that makeup on his face. If you wanna know, just ask. I know what I'm doing. I don't care who's offending. I don't think I know. I don't think I know. Sample music, check the record label, album almost out. Check the album cover, represent the gospel, following God so we can all prosper. Tech 9 to the Midwest, chopper, 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 wig split coming up, trying not to flopper, flopper, flopper. But the fire in my soul is getting hotter, 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 and I just can't stop it, stop it, stop it.